Hello, hello. I am so excited to be here with Sophie Cort. Did I say that right? Say your name.
Yes, Sophie Cort. That's okay. That's correct.
Okay, perfect.
Bonjour.
I just didn't want. It is so delightful to be here with you, and we're on different sides of the world. So I'm just starting my day, and you are just finishing your day, and I am just so grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that the timing worked out for us to connect so that the students of Under the Influence can get to know you a little bit better before we dive in and do some mixed media art journaling based on your influence. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Sophie. Where are you? And let's start with that.
Bonjour, I'm Sophie. I'm talking to you from Belgium, from Bruges, a very nice small little city in the north of Belgium. Some people call Bruges the Venice of the North because we have canals, we have water, we have boats. And I grew up to make a long story short, I grew up in Brussels. I'm a dental surgeon from education. I lived and worked with my husband 20 years in Dubai, in the Middle East. And we moved back to Belgium 5 years ago now. And ever since we moved back, I have much more time for my art. And especially also with the Corona, being inside a lot, I explored and I think I expanded my views on collage, paint, and everything. And I told Andrea that before, but I have no artistic background. I have no color background. And I felt really shy when I was asked to be interviewed about my vision on color because I don't think about color. And for me, there are no rules. There are not like you cannot combine red and green because you will mix a brown. And I don't think, and I like to work and play with colors and mix colors and put colors next to each other that are swearing together. I don't know if I say that correctly, but I like to explode with colors. It makes me happy. I like to be dressed in black, but my table and everything around is color explosion, like your background.
Yes, yes. Oh, we are so of like mind. I do the same thing. I dress solid black, dark colors, and then everything around me is just a riot of color. So I think that's definitely what attracted me to your artwork originally. And then they're just so detailed and layered and lush. And I love that. It might surprise some people to hear that about the color, you know, that you just do it intuitively. So how long have you been exploring mixed media, mini books, pocket journals, collage, that sort of thing?
I think long time. From the age I could write, I think that was about 7 or 6. I have a journal. I still have them around here. I was writing and having pen pals when I was 8 and 9. So I always had something to do with pens and markers. And at university, no time. Starting up a business, no time. And little by little, it comes back in life. But in Dubai, I had no hand at art material. I'm talking about 20 years ago. It changed tremendously. But 20 years ago, there was no art shop. There was nothing. And that's about 16 years ago, I found online an art retreat. And I think it was California. And I took a flight. I took myself a week off from my family and I went to the States just to do art for a week. But at that time it was painting on canvas because I had no idea about art journaling. And it was a retreat where we were with 300 people together and we could choose classes. And that was the start for me of everything, of opening up, playing. And ever since at that time, I went back every year once or twice. And I'm still in contact with the ladies that I met the first time when I went to the States. And I realized that there is soldering and I realized there is glass painting and wabi-sabi and aquarelle and journaling and bookbinding. And I touched a little bit everything, but I've always come back to paper, paint, fabrics, and everything what I can do with those materials.
Paper, paint, and fabric. I love that. I'm curious, was that retreat, the Art Is You retreat up in Northern California? Was it Northern California? Eat cake.
It was
create.
close to Monterey, and the first retreats I went to was Art and Soul. So you had a lot of workshops that you could choose from. And for me, it was like I was flying from so far. I was taking a day retreat and a night retreat, and I was exhausted. And I would go back with 2 suitcases full of material, a lot of new friends. And it was awesome because I never saw anything like that before. And I went on going back every single year, meeting up with the same ladies. We would do night walks on the beach. I went to Virginia also. It was wonderful. Of course, it all changed now with COVID. And coming back to Belgium, I have so many art friends around in the Netherlands. We have Birgit Koopsen, we have Soraya, we have Anouk, and it's so nice because they are driving distance away to meet up in each other's studio. So that's nice.
Oh, that's fantastic. That was one of the questions I was going to ask you, is if you have an art community around you where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And
now, are you you're still practicing then as a
anymore? No.
Anymore.
So that's why I have a lot of time in my studio. And our living room is quite large. We have an L-shaped living room, and I have the best husband in the world who allows me. I have a studio next door, huge, big, but I have overtaken a part of the living room where my table is. I create in the middle of my household, and which makes that, I wanted to stress maybe on that part, when you can create in a place where you feel great, it makes you feel looser, more at ease to let go. And that's what I have. I'm here at my table, I hear the household, I can follow what's going on TV, or my husband loves to cook, he's cooking behind, and I'm still creating. And sometimes just to do something or to slap paint on a paper, 5 minutes, and you have something. That is mixed media, that is a junk journal and art journal. So that makes it easy for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love that. Just being right in the middle. We're getting ready to do a remodel, and I am building a building outside of my house to have as a studio, but I can still imagine myself like, oh, I don't want to be away from the household. Like, I'm not sure. Yeah. So I could see.
I don't like to be sitting alone and I still hear everything what's going on.
Lovely, lovely. So Sophie, I always ask this question, what is the one supply, if you can narrow it down to one, what is the one supply you just could not live without? Art supply. And maybe it's just currently.
We talk about with the girlfriends about you going on an island or you go on holidays, what do you take? But one supply, paper.
Yeah.
Paper. And I always say I'm obsessed about paper, but I'm obsessed about fabrics that are laying around. I'm obsessed about art material in general, like I think we all are.
Yeah.
A new supply coming out, I will have it because I need to try it out. And when I lived in Dubai, when we came to Belgium, I would pack my suitcase full of art material, go back to Dubai, I would stock or place my art material on the shelf and just look at it and play with cheap stuff, because I'm like, if I finish that stuff, I don't have anything anymore. I was very peculiar about those things. And I'm like, you talked in one of your videos about if you're scared to use a certain paper to collage on, make a photocopy or scan it. And I'm like, that's a great idea. I never thought about that. But I'm telling myself, there will be paper and art material longer than my life. So it's better, I can better use it up.
Consume it.
And don't think about, I'm gonna mess it up, turn the page and go on. That's what I really think.
I love that. That mindset of abundance really does carry us through, rather than that mindset of scarcity, like, oh, there's not enough, or I'm gonna not have enough supplies. It blocks us. And so when we can let go, it's just magical what happens. And I think it grows.
And I do buy journals from other people that I admire. And I admit I don't work in those journals. I treasure them, I look at them. But the journals that I make, I use them up. I think I have a few journals behind here.
Just a
I
few.
work in all my journals. I work in them, and it's also nice to see year after year the evolution and to go back and flick through. So I think it's very important to let go.
Yeah. Do you date your work? Do you know when you created? Do you hop around?
Actually, I do. When I have my little journals, I start and but it's not very professionally done, but I write a date at the beginning and I write a date at the end to have an idea, because this way I can see that to fill a little journal like this, I used almost a year and 3 months.
Yeah.
But I don't mind, but I do date those little journals in which I just doodle. I date the beginning and the end of the journal. I will never put on a journal page that, oh, I did this on this date.
Yeah.
In these journals, but I have personal journals in which I write my emotions or frustrations or happy moments, and then I write day by day.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. When you said that, oh, this journal that you sent me is just so,
it came right in time.
It did. It was perfect. I went out to the mailbox yesterday and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. And I came straight in and recorded myself opening it up. So yes, I love the varieties of papers here. Where do you find do you have a problem sourcing things there, or how do you go about sourcing your papers?
Yeah, we have a lot of art shops in Belgium. So in every art shop, I will go and see which specific papers do they carry. But I use also very often the cheap paper that I think you for sure find in the States. This is A4 paper, student paper, high school student paper, and it makes nice. I don't often use expensive paper, not at all.
Yeah, that's oftentimes, again, it's the letting go of the preciousness of it. It's just paint paper. It's not, it's not, as long as it's not costing me a fortune and I don't feel like, yikes, I spent, X number of dollars on this sheet of paper. I better do a good job. Like, I love that concept of just using the simple things around you.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Now, do you teach it all online or?
Not yet. I've been asked several times to teach online and I've declined every single time. I think because I still have that fear of being too much working on the computer, setting up everything. And more, I share my techniques on Instagram, what I do, how I work. And that's easy for me. But to teach online, I'm not there yet. It seems for me a huge obstacle to start the whole process of setting up.
Yeah, I totally get that. When we went into lockdown, I was fortunate to have the equipment, but for the longest time before that, I kept saying, I need to get online. I need to get online. All of my classes were taught in person prior to March of 2020, all of them. And now all of them are taught online. Granted, I have one or two here or there that are making it in person, but that was a huge shift.
Don't you miss the in-person classes?
I do. I miss certain aspects of it. I have found such a great community online, and the connection that I have with the women that I've met all over the world, yourself included, is so filling to me. And I think for my personality type, because I'm such an introvert, that it gives me more energy to be able to communicate in this way, and then pick and choose the smaller clusters of time where I'm in person, because that is more draining of my energies. So yeah. But I do love teaching in person for the sparkle in people's eyes that you just can't read that over the screen. But
I remember my first workshop in California. We were having lunch and we were sitting at huge tables, and we were talking over lunch about, oh, you have to use this kind of scissor, or you have this glue is for that. And I'm like, I'm sitting here with same-minded, talking about the same details. And it was awesome, the interaction, or somebody who explains you a small little trick. And that's what I love about in-person interactions.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
it's true, when you live at the other side of the world, it's not easy.
Yeah, it is. And you're right. Thank you for reminding me of that, all of those little nuances. And I think that because it was not a possibility for so long, I sort of, blocked myself off from, well, it's not possible. So let's just make the best of it with the new way of doing things. So yeah, thank you for reminding me of those beautiful little moments that we get when we do sit together and just have, candid conversation without the camera going or without any of that. Those are delightful moments. Yeah. I get to do a retreat in April with a co-creative of mine, and I am looking forward to that. It's going to be in person in my studio, so that will be quite nice. Who online in our in the Instagram world inspires you? Do you find artists there? Who should we look out for?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's a very good question, and very important to all, or to never forget the people who have had a major influence in your artistic life. When I think about it, for example, I think it was more than 12 years ago, I had a huge influence from Robin Marie.
Yeah.
When she started teaching online, she has visited us in Belgium. She has been teaching here in my studio before the corona, which was absolutely amazing. So I've been learning a lot with Robin Marie. I've had a major influence from Remy Sigman. I had a wonderful workshop that changed my vision on fabrics with DJ Petit, but that was not online. That was an in-person workshop. Birgit Koopsen has a major influence. She's also extremely colorful. I love her. Yeah.
Yeah, that all I can see each one of those as you would name them. I'm like, yep, I can see that. It's beautiful. Yeah, wonderful. Those are all artists that you that inspire me as well. Yeah.
I think I loosened up big time. I can say with Remy Sigman starting to work really small.
Mm-hmm.
And I now try myself to get out of the borders of 4x4, but I love to work really small. And it's hard for me to get out of it because small, it's easy to fill a page and to go on.
Yeah.
So that started off with Remy Sigman.
Thanks. I have a Remy Sigman journal right here, as a matter of fact. So that does, right? Itty bitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The small ones, like similar to the one I sent you. And that's easy to loosen up when you're new in the mixed media, to start working small for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's it's a big difference, I think, between large and small, and I think people can just find what works for them as far as size goes. So I always recommend people try different formats, try different mediums. Like I love painting big canvas like this and then ripping it up and turning it into journal covers. So
excellent.
But it's fun for me to expand and try, because that's not small, right? And then think of the overall and the parts of it that can turn into something else.
What I also do on my work table, but it's maybe difficult to see, I always have these huge papers.
Yeah.
And they get dirty. And this is what goes in my journals, or I start binding them or folding them. And either I can collage on them, or this is my starting point to start further on. And that's what I show often on Instagram in small videos. Either I will glue a small piece of background paper down and I will build it out. Or sometimes people say, oh, I don't like my page. Take gesso and put gesso over it. Gesso is translucent, so you will see the underlayer, but you can build over it and start all over again.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, it's just, I love talking with like-minded people. I can just imagine us sitting at the table having lunch out in the sunshine at an art retreat.
Talk the same language.
Exactly, we do speak the same language, and it's so nice to be able to connect online like this. Thank you so much. for spending some time with me today and letting us know a little bit more about your process and where you are and how you started. It's just been delightful. And thank you. Thank you.
Very nice to invite me. I'm honored. I can't wait to see what you all will come up with.
I know we will definitely share, and we will tag you in everything that we do so you can see.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you.